Shalom Yeladim, Mora Marnie here. And now it's time to ask the famous question, what is the Parsha this week? Ma ha-Parsha, ma ha-Parsha, ma ha-Parshat ha-Shavua. Ha-Parshat ha-Shavua, ha-Parshat ha-Shavua, Re'ei, Re'ei, ha-Parshat ha-Shavua. Re'ei is this week's Parsha, and it's in the 5th book of the Torah, which is called Dvarim. And today we're going to read from my first Parsha reader, and we're going to learn some of the things that happen in this week's Parsha. So let's do it. So remember, Yeladim, all the Jewish people, Kol Bnei Israel, were standing across from Israel, from Eretz Israel. They were right across the river, the Yarden, and the Moshe Rabbeinu was speaking to all the Jewish people together and getting them ready for when they would enter Eretz Israel. So in this week's Parsha, Parshat Re'ei, here are some of the things that Moshe said. Moshe taught Bnei Israel, when you enter Eretz Israel, you will find people living there. These people are called the Kana'anim. And the Kana'anim, they worship idols, psalim. The Kana'anim do not know Hashem, and instead they daven and they bow down to statues. So when you come to Eretz Israel, smash all of the statues. Do not leave even one idol standing. Don't say, oh, this one is beautiful, let's leave it. It's like shining and it's glittering and has special things on its face. No, destroy all of them. Smash them up. Because Eretz Israel is holy, kadosh. And you must be extra careful not to leave a single idol unsmashed. So here's a picture that was drawn that shows some of the Jewish people, when they would enter the land, one of the things that they were obligated to do would be to break down all the false gods, all the statues. Okay. Now, this is another mitzvah. Moshe taught Bnei Israel, when you enter Eretz Israel, if you get hungry and you want to eat meat that comes from an animal, like a cow or a sheep or a chicken or any kosher animal, there's a special way that you have to kill the animal before you can take its meat. You can't just do anything to it. A special person called a Shochet. The Shochet is the one who learns all the halachot, all the laws about how to kill an animal in a kosher way so that Jewish people can eat it. So all of these laws, they're called Schechita. And Moshe Rabbeinu taught the Jewish people the laws, the halachot of Schechita, so that when we enter Eretz Israel, we will know the way to kill the animal to make it kosher for the Jewish people. And here's a picture. This is of later years. I'm sure that some of you know about a Shochet, and that there's a very special way that animals have to be slaughtered, and that's taught in this week's Parsha. Okay, so let's go to the next mitzvah. Okay, so this mitzvah is all about the Navi Sheker. So I'm going to tell you about the Navi Sheker. You know that sometimes when Hashem needed to, Hashem would speak to certain people, to great tzaddikim. Of course, we know Hashem spoke to Abraham, Hashem spoke to Yitzchak, Hashem spoke to Yaakov. Certainly we know Hashem was speaking to Moshe Rabbeinu. He was speaking to Moshe Rabbeinu so much, constantly telling Moshe Rabbeinu what he needed to tell Bnei Israel. So a person that Hashem speaks directly to is called a Navi. And that used to happen many, many years ago among the Jewish people when we lived in Eretz Yisrael. There were Naviim. There were people who Hashem spoke to, and then those Naviim would tell exactly to the Jewish people what Hashem said, so that the Jewish people would know what to do. That person is called a Navi. So, in this week's Parsha, we learn that there is a kind of a Navi who is Sheker, chas v'shalom. Sheker means he's false, he's a liar. So it's not a real Navi. This is a person, Hashem says, there will be a time when people will say, I'm a Navi. Listen, Hashem said to do all of these things, and he won't be telling the truth. So how do we know if he's Sheker or Emet? Well, there's some ways to know, but one of the ways is if he tells you to do anything that's against the Torah, he's a Navi Sheker. So if the Navi says, Hashem has told me that you have to pray to statues, you know that's not a real Navi. And that person needs to be punished. And everyone needs to know he's not a real Navi. Because if they don't, what are they going to do? They're going to listen to a false Navi? That would be a disaster. So Hashem makes it clear that this will happen, that there will be some people like that, and you have to be on the lookout, watch out, know who is a Navi Shekel. And so here's a picture of a Navi Shekel. Looks like he's kind of arrested. He's being taken away for trying to speak in Hashem's name, say things that Hashem said, but Hashem didn't really say them. He's trying to trick the Jewish people. So that's very serious. Okay, Eladim, so we learned 3 important things today. And I hope that you enjoyed learning about the smashing the idols, destroy the fake gods when you come into Eretz Yisrael, that there's the laws of Schechita, of the Shochet, and how to kill an animal to keep it kosher, and about the Navi Shekel. All right, so have a wonderful day. Shalom, Yeladim.